Right, we're back for the final segment of BFA's On the Ball. Now, George's favourite bit of the CFL, the Premiership. He can chat all day about this. Do you know what? He was at this game. You might see him on the screen in a bit. Let's go and see if anyone could stop the FC Bengal boys from winning another game. They just don't stop, do they? Let's watch the highlights between the big game down at Wanstead today at 2 o'clock between E7 and FC Bengals. Go watch the highlights and we'll see you in a bit. Right, it didn't happen. Well, at half time we thought there was going to be an upset. It was 2-1 to E7, and unfortunately FC Bengal in the second half just do what they do, and they steamrolled the E7 boys, and Drogba and his mates were just unstoppable. George, you were at that game and you were the linesman. I know you speak very highly of them, they're a good team, but what was the difference?
Probably fitness.
Yeah?
Well, in my opinion, it was fitness, because first half, E7 doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Second half, after 5-10 minutes, finish.
Yeah, it was definitely.
It's probably because most of the players for Bengal, they play higher level, and probably they're training 2-3 times a week
Mm-hmm.
on another teams. And E7, probably they get one training, probably they get it every Sunday, they stick with the game, and probably the fitness is the difference.
Okay.
It's not just the and it build the quality and build the quality of the players, but first, in my opinion, it was the fitness.
All right.
I'd have to agree with that. Fitness
Yeah.
is so important, I think. In
On
any level
Sunday
of
league,
football,
on Sunday league,
absolutely,
the fitness is more.
especially when you're running through mud like
Yeah.
this. I mean, like Danny mentioned clearly, I think when they played Aberfeldy last week, it's like it just felt like they were just physically strong, and I think it's the same thing with FC Bengals. They can do that.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be a close. I mean, when I heard it was 2-1 at half time as well, I thought that was quite
Yeah,
interesting. Definitely,
yeah.
it could be a good game. Definitely.
I think I've said it. They're quite slow starters, and if you're gonna have been any chance of beating FC Bengals, you've got to basically take your chances. And often 1 goal, 2 goals isn't enough. We're talking 3 or 4 goals up at half time, so it's going to take some work to beat them. George, let's talk about their goalkeeper. A bit of a character, interesting to say the least.
To be honest, I don't really like. I'm just coming to ref. I don't really like to talk about players, individual players, or he's doing his doing.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't want to get involved with the players.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
just doing my job. I'm not coming.
But is it from today's game in particular? When you're playing, when there's a big game like this,
Yes.
what's your feeling before you're going into a game? I know you just said it's
I was
difficult.
going to come back to this.
Yeah,
Well, it's difficult, but
it's difficult because you think the league's over.
But to
and
be
FC
honest,
got
every
goals.
Thursday when Quality sent me the email of the fixtures, I just watching, and I really like to have the tough games.
Okay, yeah.
If it's like first, second, or things like this, I'm enjoying. I'm more interesting. I'm give 100%. No, if I'm over, I will have even Division 1. It's not like I'm not giving 100%, but feel that when it's tough games, when it's first, second, it's we give everything. You give
All right.
everything. And
So what about in terms of for those people that are curious and want to have a go at becoming referees? How hard is it mentally to not react to a lot of players? We're not talking about individual players. We're just talking about players in general. Because Sunday League football players can be a pain.
of course,
And every decision you can never be right. If one
You
one
never
team
right
likes a
anyway.
decision, you're never right in any way. Are
you're
you?
right for one
So-
team. You're not. Yeah. So.
Surely that's if there is a down point, is it that? And how do you handle that particular moment?
Well, it's a lot of things we can say now. But first thing, you have to talk to the players. Everything they done wrong on the pitch, talk to them. Try to explain why you give a card. First, why you give a card. If you book anyone, it's better to talk to the players and explain why. Maybe they're not going to do it again. Some of the referees just give a yellow card, and some of the players are asking why, and they ignoring. Which is, in my opinion, is not good. You have to tell them why, because maybe next time they're not going to do it. So maybe it's a good example to tell them why, so they're going to listen. Well, most of them don't listen, but maybe part of them they listen, and they're good.
I'd have to agree with that. I think when George has ref my game as an example, or other refs where you've asked for a reason as to why something has happened, and they've told you why, you have to respect whatever the decision is, and then at least going forward what it is and how it helps. And I think
Even if
we have certain refs who don't.
everyone is doing
say
mistakes.
anything
You
at all.
guys, when you're playing, you're doing
Yeah.
mistakes. When you're refereeing, we're doing mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
I
it's
think,
better to talk, to have a talk on the game with the players, just to be
I think that
together.
discussion does help. I think it does, definitely. I think
So is it, all right, Shirley,
Just-
from your perspective,
Yep.
okay, you're playing in the league, and in your opinion, what makes a good ref?
I'd say understanding the game is definitely absolutely important. I think you can see with certain people, with certain refs that have probably played football at a certain level, that allowing the game to continue and so forth. Like today's game, I think there was a couple of instances where advantage was played in several occasions, and he actually came in favour for both teams, and I don't think either team could have walked away from our game against Messiah Elsa, where they thought the ref had a bad game. I thought it was good. I mean, the ref was clear and concise as to why he did what he did, but I think it's explaining his decisions is absolutely important, but stamping his authority early on I think is important as well. As in, I made a reckless challenge about 10 minutes in. He came straight up to me and he said, look, captain, first and last, I don't want it again. And I respected it, and I carried on like that. And you know, because he was lenient about what I did there, because it was a late challenge, he was fine with it, and it was good. But I think throughout the game it was very similar in that respect. I think there was one heated incident with one of the Elsa players, but it was his own heat. It was his own I'd say his own temper more than anything else. Both teams, I think, walked off the pitch quite happy with how they played between each other. There wasn't any arguments or anything like that. So I think his letting the team game flow is absolutely paramount, I think.
Okay.
Just in regards to what you're doing, essential, by it's not there's always one player in a team that you know he's consistent. Like if you've reffed the team before, as myself as a referee, I would know, for example, this player has got a mentality of giving dissent. So like you say, if you stamp your authority straight away, then obviously you've nipped it in the bud. And
so you remember from previous games how
yeah,
this particular
and
player
obviously you know he knows that, yes, we know how this ref's like, and obviously if you stamp it in the authority first time, then it won't happen for whatever's remaining. Yeah.
Okay, so you're going into games with preconceived ideas about individuals, right?
Yes.
They could have changed it.
And not even that, even myself,
that's a good thing.
I was going to say
even
that.
myself, when I'm as a referee, when I'm on the pitch, i.e. if it's the CFL league, summer league, any local team, we've got, like, for example, we've got this ref again, we know how he's like, so let's not say anything to him. Let him ref the game, and whatever he says, we go by what he's got to say.
All right. Go on. Now, I agree with that point. But let's look at the other results. We did have other Premiership results going on today. I think they're going to come on the screen shortly for you. I will run through them. The Shadwell first game of the day. Shadwell again following on from their cup game against their local derby, colleagues down at Aberhoney, winning 4-1. So Aberhoney still going on a bit of a downer. The results are on your screen in front of you. Well done to Shadwell. Again, you were supposed to be on the show and you're not. Hopefully we will have you at some stage. Shy bunch down there. Ace winning 5-0, very convincing win against Mohammedan. I don't know what's going on down there. They seem to have gone off the tracks a bit there. East won in a very tight game. We can talk about this in a second. Just about squeezing a 4-3 win against London Central. And as we just saw in the highlights, FC Bengal doing what they do best and winning 6-3. So Drogs and his boys continue. I guess they need one, maybe two. They've got Ace next week. I would guess if they win that game, the league's more or less sewn up. I can't see anybody stopping them. So well done to FC Bengals, winning the big game of the day. We can look at the Premiership table now as well, and as you can see, it seems like a foregone conclusion. FC Bengals are on 24 Ace, followed by Ace on 15, 16, and then we have and down at the bottom, London Central still struggling. I can see there. Yeah, so I know you guys say it's players maybe or referees lose interest when they look at the league tables, but it takes some. It will be some feat. I don't care what league it is. It's football, and anything can happen on the given day. Sunday League football, but being consistent as they have done, FC Bengals. If they finish this season, I think they've got another 4 games left. It has to be sure. It's a remarkable feat, isn't it?
Definitely. Practically invincibles as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's potentially 100%.
100% as well.
Yeah, so George, I've said it. It doesn't matter what league it is. To go 100% and not dropping a single point in any league, that's some achievement, right?
Of course, yeah. Yes.
Okay.
But I say again, there's only 2-3 teams who can challenge them.
Yeah, and
so
they haven't.
That's why they just smash everyone 6-7, 10-0.
Yeah. All right. But let's look at some of these results today. Let's start with the Shadwell game. Aberhoney lost the plot a bit. Shadwell seem to be coming. Is it that Shadwell have improved, or is it Aberhoney on a downward slide?
I mean, I spoke to Josham a few weeks ago to find out how things are with them. Because I look at Sai, for example. We in the summer league we've had back-to-back promotions, and we've kind of used that into the winter league, and it's allowed us to move forward a little. Okay, we've had a bit of a dip now, but I kind of expected Abu Hani after their good, amazing cup run and fantastic summer league as well for them in the league as well. You know, getting both, you think that they'd carry on and push forwards. He's saying he has had a couple of key players missing and so forth there, but I think even with Sire at the moment, it's you lose a couple, and I think you want a bit of luck going your way, and it's just not quite happening. And maybe the same thing with them as well.
Just touching on Shadow, I think they've had a couple of their experienced players come back, like Shalimbai.
Was he playing today?
Yes, he was,
Okay.
and Abu from was it Abu from Ponders End?
Ponders End, yeah.
He
I've
played
heard
last
he's back. Okay.
last week. So I think that's that. And obviously, when you have Shalimbai at the back, he's like a rocket, and
Yeah.
he's controlling the defense. I think that's one thing that helps.
Okay.
Definitely.
So again, it goes back to the question that are we getting the development? If you're getting the 35, 36-year-olds having to
vets
come
coming
back,
along.
and the vets having to come back to make a difference to your team, that for me says a lot
I
about
think
the.
it's also about I'm sure Sewell and George will agree with me. It's also about gelling the inexperience with the experience.
yeah,
I think
definitely.
that's another thing as well.
Mhm.
As well.
Okay, so well done to Abu, well done to Sheldon for coming back and helping out your Shadwell boys. It'll be interesting because we've got summer again this summer. Shadwell are in the Premiership, in the first division. They're looking to get back into the Premiership. It's how do they maybe that's the way going forward. I know they tried to get rid of everything, clean the slate and go with the young blood, but it wasn't working. They brought back the more experienced boys, and that seems to be working for them. So maybe that's the way forward for you guys down at Shadwell. Well done.
I was going to say, I don't know how they've been away from football. I mean, me and you, we can't stop playing, can we? So
I love it. I know Abu was asking me the question off air, how long are you going to keep on playing? I think from my perspective, obviously I'm coaching, and that is my passion now. I love it. But also whatever I can get a game, I will. And Sunday League football, that's what it's about. It's about putting on the boots and going out there and enjoying it. And as long as people are asking me to come and play and I'm enjoying it, I think that's what I'll do. So yeah, that in response to that question, because really, if at our age, if you don't want to be sat on the bench, and if you're not getting a game, really, you should be, I guess, at home watching the telly. So that's what it's about. But that's my response to your answer, Abu. But with regards to, let's go back to the results today. Ace beating Mohammedan 5-0. They're having a really up and down season, aren't they?
yeah, I was speaking to their management again to find out what was going on there, and they was talking that they gifted, I think it was 4-0 at half time actually, so they just gifted literally three or four of the goals to Ace. They were saying it's just sloppy defending, sloppy play from them overall across the whole of the park is what the management felt was going wrong. But then again, Ace probably just had to take the foot off the gas because they just had to ensure that they just kept their lead.
Okay.
So
Go on, Abu, go on.
One thing if you look at it, I think Mohammedan played E7 I think a couple of weeks ago, and it was a very tight game. George was on that game, and
last week.
Yeah, last week it was
in the last minute.
it was a very tight game. And look at this week, Ace demolished Mohammedan 5-0. So I think it's something, maybe some of the players from the bigger teams are not committed when it comes to winter. That's in my opinion, especially even like looking at my club E7, we've registered about 25 players, and a lot of our big players, they're not coming week in, week out.
Okay, so where does that commitment, is that a problem is it the management's problem? Because again, I hate to keep on going back to FC Bengals, but they seem to be consistent.
Yep.
They've got a very strong 11 out. So that for me, that says the management is in control of what's going on. They make sure if one player isn't available, they'll make sure another one is. The squad, they have a similar number. They don't, similar to 25 to 28 that E7 have. But why is it they can get a strong 11 out, strong 13, 14 players, and the others can't, George?
Well, I don't really know what to say about this. It's just about just the teams, it's about the community, the managers,
But what is it something that's missing during the week? Because obviously a lot of communication, a lot of effort goes on down at the FC Bengals and the management committee. They're all getting together, making sure that they've got a strong 15 to pick from on. So what's not happening?
I've worked with E7 for a year and a half. I personally blame a lot of the players. They're not very committed when it comes to the Winter League. And I think the other thing is what I touched on earlier on. It's demotivating, and what we said off air with Swelba and George. I think we can see that FC Bengal are running away with the league, and I think that's another thing. A lot of the players are not turning. I just don't think it's just with E7. I think it's also with the other big clubs such as Mohammedan, Ace. I think it's that we can see
They give up too early.
Yeah.
They
All
give up
right.
too
Okay.
early.
We mentioned Ace. Let's just go back to Ace because they've got two big games coming up. They've got FC Bengals in the league next week. Because they've got nothing to play, but potentially they could be the team that takes the points off.
Absolutely.
So that's a big thing to play for. It's a bit of pride, and then they have them in the cup. So is it going to happen? Can you see Ace taking points off FC Bengals?
no.
Fair enough. That's answered that. Shuel, is it possible?
I'd say maybe not in the league, but possibly in the cup, because it's one game. You give 110% in that one game.
I think that's it. I think the key is with FC Bengals, 11 players giving 110% on the day. You cannot carry any player on that pitch, I think, if you're going to have any chance of beating them.
I mean,
boys.
if E7 could be 2-1 at half time and George was there and you saw that E7, because they were committed and they were working that first half, surely they were doing something right, because they were 2-1 ahead. So if they
Something happened in the second half, because first half, E7, they was better team on the pitch.
Yeah.
It was the better team on the pitch.
There you
Second
go.
half, they played different game.
Yep.
That's also from the line. They played different game. Well, sorry, the fitness.
Yep.
They probably tried to play the same game like first half, but it was
couldn't.
no part of it. Couldn't, so.
All right, guys, we're nearly out of time. I'm just going to quickly talk about the East 1 versus London Central. East 1, congratulations, just about scraping that game. You were 3-0 up. Central London come back to 3-all.
Wow.
And then East
on the last
1,
minute.
they got a last-minute penalty. So Jamai wasn't very best pleased. So East 1, very lucky to take one. Unlucky to London Central. Keep going, boys. Looks like you're nearly there. You're nearly there. You just got to stop them goals going in. I saw the boys after the game down at FC Bengals versus E7. You're still committed. You don't. Again, we're talking about commitment. They're there week in. They're giving the graft, and they seem to be getting better with every week that goes by. So really unlucky. Well done to East 1 for winning that game. Sounds like it was a bit of a corker. So that's it, guys. Unfortunately, we're out of time. George, thank you. It's been a pleasure having you on.
My pleasure.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for coming down. Abu, nice to have you on this side of the screen for a change. Yeah, well done today. It's been insightful. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. And Shuel, yourself as usual. I'll see you next week.
You will indeed.
Right, guys, we're out of time. As usual, it's been packed. It's been fun. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Next week, we've got more CFL action. We've got the big game. Hopefully, we'll have the highlights from the AS versus FC Bengals game, depending what time that is, down at Wanstead. And also, we'll have more action from the Tower Hamlets Youth League. Hopefully, have some results for you as well on the Sunday and get some of the kids in to talk about their team and their performances. So until then, you've been watching BFA's On The Ball Show. I've been Imrul Ghazi. Thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next week, same place, same time. Assalamu alaikum and good evening.